So we're here today. We're going to showcase wild game and fish that you can catch and hunt here in Ohio. And we're trying to sell people on the idea of giving it a try through their taste buds. So the dish we're preparing right now is a blackened walleye. It's going to be served over a white cheddar grits with a Creole sauce. As you can see in front of you, we have our mobile kitchen. We kind of take it through events throughout the state, kind of to showcase, the opportunities that you have to put good table fare, proteins on the table. A lot of people enjoy getting their food locally and knowing where it comes from. This is a way to get our proteins locally, so we can hunt and harvest our proteins. We can control all parts of that aspect, from the harvest to cleaning them to preparing them for table to share with our family and friends. So the walleye we have here is from Lake Erie, and right now, if you're unaware, the walleye fishing up on Lake Erie is just phenomenal. So if you get a chance to go out fishing, whether through a charter or if you have a friend with a boat, now's the time to get up there. It's the best fishing we've seen since the 80s. So the walleye we have here today, we kind of get through a couple of avenues. So we do surveys to kind of monitor populations, and we're allowed to utilize that catch once it's done for the scientific purposes, for education purposes. But we also do cases where our wildlife officers may bust somebody for poaching, and that meat is forfeited. And as long as we know how it was cared for, we're allowed to have it processed and used for education purposes as well. I'm a big fan of learning from other people, and there's a local restaurant up in Port Clinton area. Wife and I sat down, we had a meal, and it was actually a barbecue place, but they made a incredible grouper dish, and it was kind of my inspiration. All right, so what we have cooking right now on the stovetop here is we have a Creole sauce. Foundation of it is your onions, peppers, celery, sauteed in butter and olive oil. And then we add a crushed tomato puree, some chicken broth, and a kind of over-the-counter Creole seasoning into it, and then we'll kind of tear up some fresh basil and top that at the end. In this pot, we have cheddar grits. So my southern friends are going to yell at me, but these are the instant grits. We kind of cheat to make them a little quicker, but we doctor them up. So we have cheddar grits. Instead of water, I use chicken broth. I think it gives it a little more flavor. Salt, pepper. Once those are cooked, I'm added some heavy cream. I'm going to add some butter and some shredded white cheddar. Walleye fishing, you're able to fish for them year-round here in Ohio, and the bag limits currently at this time are 6. So we have a real healthy population, and in fact, the fishing is so good right now. Guys are going out and they're getting 3 to 4 man limits. That's how many people are in the boat in just a couple hours. I mean, it's really that good right now. So most guys and gals go out. When they go out, their trolling's real popular in terms of getting fish in the cooler. People are trolling, stick baits or spoons are very popular. Early in the season, you can get the jig bite, and that's when they're out spawning on the reefs. You can jig for them. And then there's a window in there where guys use nightcrawler harnesses or worm harnesses to fish for them as well. The sauce is about done. I'm waiting on the grits to kind of catch up, and then we're almost there with the grits, and then we'll go ahead and get the walleye on. You have a variety of different options to kind of get your hunting and fishing license. You can go to a retailer, but kind of a new, really neat feature we have an app now. So if you go to your app store on your phone and go to Hunt Fish OH, you can download our app, and you can download that and purchase your license right on your phone now. Yep. Or if you got a computer, printer at home, you can just go online and print them that way. But the app's kind of cool because you just keep it right on your phone. So the kitchen, we got started with it just kind of, I would say 2018, and unfortunately, we had to put it up for a year or two. But this past year, we've hit quite a few events. We're really starting to gain traction with it, and it's definitely very popular. We're about ready to start with fish again. When I blacken any type of fish, but even more specifically walleye, what we're doing here, I like to use ghee, which is a clarified butter, just a little bit healthier. It's also shelf stable, so you don't have to store it. And then I try to and I would recommend, doing this outside. When I blacken fish, I want the skillet as hot as I can. What that allows is for you to char the seasoning while cooking the fish at the appropriate time length. So I put just a little bit of ghee just to keep the first batch from sticking. The walleye that has been prepped had been brushed with a very light coating of the ghee, and then I'm just using a commercial blackening seasoning on top. And then as soon as this is kind of smoking a little bit, they're going straight in there. Just a couple minutes per side. These fillets aren't very thick, so they don't need long to cook at all. And actually, when you're blackening seasoning, it should be sticking. When you're not using a non-stick, what I would recommend is getting a metal spatula, and you want to basically scrape that char off with it. So in this case, this is kind of what we have to work with. So you'll see we're able to get a little char, but not as much as what I would normally like. So if you can do this outside, that's definitely the preferred place to do it. And one other thing that'll help you out is if you avoid overcrowding your pan. Obviously, every piece you put in that's cooler is chilling that skillet down, so you're not able to retain as much heat. So you notice I make sure I had space between my fillets in here. Typically, there's a couple different things you can do with fish preparation. So after you catch them, obviously keep them on ice, keep them cool. And then it just depends on what you're going to present. So, probably the easiest technique is just filleting, which is basically taking the meat off, separating it from the bones. And you're actually, most people skin them as well and remove the skin. So you just have kind of what you see here. If you're doing other types of meal prep or dishes, there are other options. You can scale them and cook them whole. One of my fun presentations I like doing is a whole walleye grilled. It makes for a good conversation piece, but that's not for everyone. Some people don't want to see, the whole fish. And so knowing who you're cooking for in the crowd in the audience, it's really important as well. So just a few minutes per side. Some of what it is for me is I've done it enough that I just kind of feel it. But what you're looking for is you'll see the meat, it'll turn from a kind of translucent kind of color to a white flaky color. So there's kind of a happy medium there that you're looking for. Obviously, you don't want to serve undercooked fish, but if you cook it too long, you can get kind of a rubbery or it just falls apart as well. And just looking at your fish, these are, I'm guessing, we're probably, 18 to 22 inch walleye. If you start getting in the bigger ones, you're talking about really thick fillets. So obviously those are going to need a bit longer to cook. And sometimes it's even worth kind of cutting those up, chunking them up to smaller pieces, especially if you're cooking for a group or an audience. So there's you can use basically any seasoning you would use on other things to make dishes. Recipe we have in our cookbook right now, we have a Thai coconut curry one that is just kind of something different, and it's just a game changer. You serve it for a group, people go nuts over it. We'll cut these in small chunks or even use bluegill as another species we have here in Ohio, crappie. And we'll just flash boil those real quick with some Old Bay seasoning and make a homemade cocktail sauce. And you chill them, put them on ice, and then you can eat them just almost like a shrimp. I mean, fish is actually more versatile than just frying, and that's kind of part of what we're trying to teach people is there's a lot of good options for fish. So we're currently, basically this kitchen has the ability to travel just anywhere in Ohio. We are looking for specific events, ones that, really showcase kind of local food, local resources, farmer markets, things like that. We're really trying to work, with those crowds, but if the event's right, we'll definitely travel there. For those around here, if you want to come up, we have some samples coming out.